Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I'm excited to end the show with Rebecca Clyde. She is a registered dietitian and nutritionist, and we're talking all about Halloween candy and fall veggies. So I think the perfect segment to get us ready for November and kind of over Halloween. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. So I think, Halloween being over, we've got lots of candy around, and I've just got some tips today on how to handle Halloween candy. So these are tips that can help with your kids, but also for us as adults.
Okay, we need it at our house because we have way too much candy right now.
Well, and that's the thing. And so I think a couple of tips. One thing that can be really helpful here, especially the day after Halloween, go ahead and let your kids sort through their Halloween candy and let them choose the ones that they really like and then the ones that they don't, and then ask them what they want to do with the ones that they don't, and probably that would be to get rid of them in some way. So then you're already cutting down on what they have, and then they can really just enjoy the ones that they do like.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I used to bribe my kids to get rid of their candy. I'd be like, you give me all this candy and we'll go buy you a little Barbie doll. Maybe that's horrible, I don't know, but it was just so much. And I'd put extra in the freezer and take some to youth activities, just, try to not have them overload, and because then they'll feel terrible.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think there's kind of good and bad on both sides of that. So a lot of times Halloween is such a fun and exciting time for kids, and so the reality is they're probably going to eat a lot that night, and that's fine. And I think and a lot of child nutrition experts actually encourage that. Let them eat whatever they want, because they're able to self-regulate and learn how to do that, and then that'll help create lifelong habits of figuring out how much food is helpful for them in that moment, and then they'll also, most kids will eat a lot of candy, and then they'll learn oh, my tummy does not feel good, and so that could be an opportunity for you as a parent to be able to talk to your kids about that and say, well, if your tummy doesn't feel good, maybe let's kind of figure something else out next time, and that's just to allow them to have the opportunity to self-regulate is really helpful.
I think that's a great point. Because if you're constantly restricted, you feel like, oh, I want more, and you might not necessarily learn how it feels when you do overindulge. And that's a good point.
Yeah, well, and the thing is too, there's a lot of research that suggests that the biggest predictors of binging are actually restriction and dieting. And so that plays into that as well, which it's surprising. But if you think about it, how many times have you eaten more than what feels good at that time? And usually that's brought on by maybe not having tried that food before and it was so good and you just want to get all that you can, or maybe you've been restricting that for a time before and then it's like, oh, I forgot how good this tastes, and then nothing else matters in that moment.
So that leads me to a question I had when I was looking at your website. You are a dietitian, a nutritionist who doesn't believe in diet.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so kind of what we just talked about. Just as a parent telling their kid, this is what you need to be doing, and obviously teaching your child is really helpful, but making those decisions for them doesn't give them the opportunity to learn for themselves as much. And so the same thing goes for us as adults, to be able to learn and to figure that out. And me telling you what to do is not going to be so helpful. And again, restriction and dieting are the biggest predictors of binging, and that's a cycle that is pretty detrimental on a number of levels, because it doesn't make you feel good physically, and then also emotionally it doesn't help at all with that.
Oh, yes. So don't diet, but learn how to eat and how to love healthy foods, which brings us to these lovely fall vegetables that you brought.
Come over here.
Tell us about these.
Yeah, so I chose a couple of some of my favorite actually fall vegetables, and I love these because they're super simple and easy to prepare, but they're probably not ones that are commonly loved by people. So that's kind of why I wanted to share these ones. So should we just jump right into it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I've got some cauliflower right here. So cauliflower is great and easy because it's a simple flavor, really mild, so you can do a lot of different things with it, which I love. It's a great vegetable that you can throw into any dish that you're already making, or it takes on a lot of flavors really well. So if you wanted to try, I have some Kung Pao cauliflower, and that's kind of a mouthful. But I was at an event in DC recently, and this was one of the appetizers, and I could not stop eating it. It tasted so good.
Smells delicious.
Yeah. So it's just, it's not spicy at all, but it can be, and it's kind of hard to grab. But it's got a lot of flavor, which is
Very
so good.
flavorful. Is it hard to make?
No, so I just found this recipe online. There's a lot of different recipes around,
nice.
but you just marinate it for 10 minutes, make a couple sauces, and there you go.
Well, it's so flavorful, and then you also get that crunch, so you don't really miss the meat as much, I don't think.
Yeah, well, and it's a great addition if you're making Kung Pao chicken, for example. The cauliflower would be a great addition to that.
We could with orange chicken. We had that the other night. That'd be a
that
good,
sounds really good.
a good side dish.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yum.
And so the next vegetable that I have here are Brussels sprouts. I think this is one of the most polarizing vegetables out there. You either love it or you hate it. They're often pretty bitter. So I really like to roast them. It brings out the natural sweetness, and I love Brussels sprouts. So when I am serving them to people that I'm not sure if they're gonna like them, I like to include familiar flavors. So I made some Brussels sprouts with bacon and maple syrup. So again, really easy recipe here. I just roasted them, and I mean, a lot of people like bacon, so it's a great way, a great foray into it. So again, super easy. I just roasted them, threw the bacon on there, and some maple syrup. So if you want to try this one as well.
So my husband is Southern. His mom is a great Southern cook, and she takes bacon and fries it in bacon grease. So it doesn't look quite, which is not what you did. This looks a little bit healthier. I can't get a bite.
I know, I was doing that earlier. And the nice thing about this is you can adjust, the proportions here as much as you want. Maybe a little bit more bacon for people who aren't so sure about the Brussels sprouts, and then adjust it as you want to.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
How did you cook the Brussels sprouts?
I just sliced them and then threw them in the oven and roasted them at 425.
They're delicious.
So
All right,
really
we only
easy.
have a minute left on the show,
all
so
right.
what's next?
So beets are next. So again, super simple here. I just roasted them. I had some herbs that were going bad, and so I threw those in there. And I actually roasted them together. They took about a half an hour for both of them.
Oh, yum.
So
Let's try this.
I love roasted beets. I think they're so
I've
delicious.
never had a roasted beet.
Oh,
That
you
makes me
haven't?
sound really vegetable inept.
That's okay. But they're so easy, right? They're good.
So good. And we're eating all of this cold, but it is so good, so delicious.
I was worried about that, but they do. These especially taste
All right,
really
how can
good.
we find you? What's your website, social media? Let us know.
So I'm just nourishnutritionblog.com, and then also Nourish NutriCo on social media. So
perfect.
pretty easy. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Absolutely,
Rebecca.
yeah.
I already feel healthier between the yoga and the veggies. Thanks so much for watching. It's been a great day. I hope you feel mentally healthy and well, and have a great day after Halloween. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.